Oh, hi there, friends. Mandy here. Restorative grief is all about creating easy access to healing no matter where or who you are. That's why I want you to remember that if you want grief support beyond a podcast, my 31-day guidebook is available to order on Amazon. Embracing our losses without losing ourselves is a reflective journey into the holistic needs of grievers and learning to support yourself, mind, heart, body, and spirit. Don't just wing it. You can lean into grief work with a guide. The link for the book and more are available in the show notes, and as always, you can reach out with questions. But for now, let's get on to this week's episode. Welcome back to Restorative Grief with Mandy Capehart. You are listening to episode 120, titled Practicing Your Own Power. Now that we are well clear of the holidays, it's amazing how we can still feel the sensation of all that pressure, huh? Performance and refinement and all the other concepts of the new year and resolutions seem to carry that holiday hustle right into our new year and day to day, even when we want to set it aside. But in order to set that aside, we have to cultivate a better way of living. So today, I'm sharing details about a practice I use to do just that, keeping myself aligned and connected with myself and my purpose. Reclaiming our sense of power, self, and control in the world doesn't take an iron fist. But our tendency, especially in the high performance atmosphere of capitalist America, is to put our 100% into each new promising pathway and hope for the best. And that's not what I'm offering today. The idea I want to present to you is not going to be reasonable for everyone. So if you're interested in no way, shape, or form, that's okay. Just listen and pass it along if someone else mentions they need a new strategy, right? But if you are interested, even a little bit, test this out for a day or three and see how you feel. Everything, especially in coaching, is just an experiment, a suggestion to try. So if you find that you hate it, just set it aside, or maybe consider how you might adapt it to be a better fit for your life. Each morning, I try to wake up at 5 a.m., I know, for my own power hour practice. That's what I call it. The power hour practice is a solo period of time designed to invite me back into my own power. It asks the questions: what is in my control? Where does my own internal power come from? And how will I support myself well to remain in my power and connected to my values? This practice came from a season in my life when I felt like all I did was wake up, jump on work projects, serve my family, and then stay up late hours into the night with revenge bedtime procrastination, leaving me even more exhausted than before. It's not reasonable for me as a human to continue in that cycle. And when I tried to justify it, I sounded really sad, literally sad, as if I'd forgotten along the way that I also deserved to be cared for. So I love these questions because they invite me and allow me to pivot when necessary. In order to find my own power in the mornings, I don't have to have a set structure, guidebook, or process to follow. I can feel out what I need for the day ahead based on what I've been experiencing and where I have found lack. This allows me to recenter on what matters to me, what fuels my work and my decisions, and how I can stay grounded through all the demands on my time. I like to start the day this way, but when I've not been sleeping well or I've made poor end of the day decisions and stayed up too late, sometimes waking an hour early to invest this time seems unwise. If my body naturally wakes at that hour, I'll get up with the momentum. And so that's where you start to craft this for yourself. Would an hour of time invested in these questions and those subsequent morning hours be meaningful for you? Because if you choose to try this in the morning, you need to consider what it might look like. Maybe it's a 5 a.m. wake up call with some movement, some tea, meditation, writing, dancing, singing. I've done all of those things at 5 a.m. Maybe it's reading and imagination time, free journaling, any opportunity to just let your mind wander free of obligation and consider your responsibilities or what you want to do for the rest of your day anytime you face free time. Or maybe you're a night owl who can't imagine 5 a.m., but would benefit from incorporating this type of power hour practice at night. Honestly, my practice, what I actually do at 5 a.m., changes daily because my needs also change daily. So some days it is a structured coaching practice and meditation, and other times it's watching funny videos. The other day, I used a coaching strategy known as a worry station. And by the end of my time and closing mindfulness practice, I had clarity about a worry that I had carried for the last 2 years. It was wild and very unexpected. And I would not have encountered that new insight for myself if I'd been devoted to a single pathway in morning habits. So, being open to possibilities is crucial for a power hour because this is where we uncover growth and clarity of what we can control and what keeps us connected. It also invites us to be creative and flexible, which if you haven't learned yet, flexibility is super crucial for surviving change and especially for caring for ourselves really well as we grieve. The end goal and purpose of a power hour is to become more attuned with ourselves as we heal and uncover which core values are leading the charge and which unhelpful automatic habits are trying to take over. Sometimes our core values have shifted, but we've lived with such busyness and distraction that we don't even notice. Maybe we're committed to projects or even people that no longer feel like safety, warmth, connection, or health. These reflective questions and the hour I commit for fleshing out the answers in subsequent practices are restorative for an overworked and overcommitted soul like me. So take a few minutes right now. What might a power hour practice look like for you? Pick a time of day and for the next 3 days, commit yourself to that time frame, bearing in mind that, of course, if you don't sleep, you can rest and pivot. Choose a space to practice where you can control as much as is possible the noise, the temperature, the sounds, and the quality of your experience, right? Because if you're fighting off toddlers or begging someone else to let the barking dog outside, that time will feel more stressful than reflective. Choose also how you'll answer your own questions. Will you write them out on paper? Will you create an ongoing note in your phone? Maybe you only want to reflect on them in your head, and that's okay because there's no right or wrong way to do this. You need to make it your own. You may also want to choose a method of incorporating your answers or values uncovered into your daily life after that hour has ended, because this is not just for show. We're not checking a box. This is a practice for transformation. So, in what way might you add a little check in midday to see how you're handling your power? Lastly, make the commitment that even if the time of day, location, or duration needs to change, like we mentioned, you will not give up on the practice. It can be tempting to feel like you're starting at ground zero every time you miss a day in a streak or even skip a whole week entirely. But you're not starting from scratch. You're a different person today than you were the last time you started. For example, this year, I'm trying a different planner and work organization strategy for the first 3 months of the year. I actually started early in December. But this is a strategy that I have already tried a few years ago and failed at. That doesn't mean I'm naive or unwise to try it again, because the me of today has a stronger baseline understanding of the strategy, and I'm coming to the table as a fully different person with fresh vision, connections, and ideas about why I think now is the time to try this strategy again. And after 3 months, or even 3 days, I have permission to make a different choice if I hate it. I am the one steering the ship. I have the power and authority to identify my needs and make my choices accordingly. And I know that that is something to really disappear in our minds when we are grieving. It's hard to remember and believe that we have power, that we have authority, or that there's anything we can influence or control. But even as I say that statement, I have the power and authority to identify my needs and make my choices accordingly. You can hear how reinforcing my own power allows me to operate from a strong sense of self, of grounding. Okay? I am worthy of the time, effort, and intentionality it takes, even while I grieve, to create a life I love where I feel powerful, safe, and happy. And so are you. Thank you for listening to episode 120 of Restorative Grief. This episode may have sounded or felt a little less grief-centric than usual, but I guarantee our griefy hearts benefit greatly from the attention we can offer ourselves in a power hour practice. When I am grieving, I feel so powerless. That doesn't mean I'll suddenly feel powerful in the face of loss, but I will begin to notice areas in my life that I can make a powerful influence. And you too are a powerful person. You may not always feel powerful, but you contain multitudes. You carry within you the power and authority to carve your life as you see fit. And it can be challenging to see that life if we're always hoping for the end result to come magically fast or without much changing on our part. So much changes on a daily basis, even the very cells of our body. So we are showing up for our current self in a new way. Through this practice, trusting that the power we contain and unveil and learn to access will help us craft the life where healing and integration are second nature. If this is your first time listening to Restorative Grief, welcome. This year, we are chasing after some big ideas and big opportunities for healing collectively and individually. So I hope you'll subscribe to the show and stick with it. If you liked this episode, please be sure to leave a 5-star review and share it with a friend who may also need a reminder of how powerful they really are. You know that feeling you get when someone sends you a link or a meme and says, "Hey, I see you, and this made me think of you"? Well, maybe it's your turn to pass that feeling to someone else and see what a difference it can make. Because you are a griever, so you get it. Feeling seen is a powerful gift to give. And as always, before we go, one last thing. Please remember, the only solution for grief is to do the work of grieving. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next week.